Chapter 1070. It was named, Northern Rock. Translator, Nyoibo. Studio editor, Nyoibo. Studio. Luo Feng's face immediately registered a look of anticipation. Previously, he had heard from Ancestor that the get between Ancestor and teacher Sitting Mountain Guest involved his wager, a set of True Treasure series, and teacher's wager, a piece of a pinnacle true treasure. If Ancestor lost, then he would have to bestow this set of True Treasure series to Luo Feng. This was definitely a great opportunity. For them to use these items as wagers meant the True Treasure series and the Pinnacle True Treasure must have been of comparable value. His Force armor was one such Pinnacle True Treasure, and Blade River Luo, a top-tier domain-type True Treasure with an extremely strong attacking power, was comparable to Force armor. It was so massive that its entire birth process had to be divided into several segments to reach completion. Thus, it was quite a sensation. It was little wonder that Flame Emperor had been so reluctant to give up Force armor to Luo Feng back then. Such events went to show that true treasures such as Force armor and Blade River Luo were very precious, so precious, in fact, that great beings like Flame Emperor and Primal Chaos City Leader covet them. Yet only Universe Supreme beings such as Ancestor and Sitting Mountain Guest had the magnitude of boldness to use such precious treasures as the stakes in a bet. You are one of the top 9 powers in the universe, Ancestor of Space Beast Alliance. You can't be that petty, teased Sitting Mountain Guest. I am waiting for that True Treasure series of yours. Ancestor cast a look at Sitting Mountain Guest. His expression revealed his heartache. Even a being as great as Ancestor would feel the sting of this loss. Previously, when he had been so confident that he would win the Pinnacle True Treasure from Sitting Mountain Guest, he had not expected that he would lose the gamble. Fair is fair, Ancestor said. This True Treasure series is one I can still afford to lose. According to our agreement, I shall bestow this True Treasure series to Luo Feng. Yes. Sitting Mountain Guest smiled and nodded. That's right. Bestow it to my disciple. Ancestor turned to look at Luo Feng. Luo Feng. Ancestor. Luo Feng replied respectfully. He did not consider defeating Ancestor something to be proud of. It was, after all, only to fulfill a gamble. If Ancestor were to display his true power, his ability to ensure that whatever order he gave would be effectively enforced would have rendered Luo Feng powerless with no way to fight back. If one was willing to pay the price, he could even kill a universe master. Look. Ancestor pointed in midair, and a black beast figure suddenly appeared. Huh? Luo Feng looked carefully. It was a wild beast that was black from head to toe. It had 4 powerful hooves and claws, as well as sharp fangs that pointed to the sky and a single horn on its forehead that gave off a shiny gleam. Its body was covered with layers of armor, as though it were filled with limitless magical power. Luo Feng was completely captivated at first glance. It was truly a stirring beauty. The black wild beast was around 300 feet tall, and it landed right in front of Luo Feng. It was then that Luo Feng realized, to his astonishment, that this was a dead creature. It was lifeless. Ancestor walked over and caressed the leg of the gigantic beast. This is my True Treasure series. I named it Beast God Armor. Sitting Mountain Guest looked on with great pleasure, then laughed aloud. Ancestor cast him a glance before turning to look at Luo Feng. Your teacher is gloating, but it's to be expected. Previously, because of this True Treasure series, there was chaotic battling all over. Your teacher was so scheming. He launched a sneak attack and immediately fled the scene. I had to pay quite a sizable price to defeat that adverse universe, and finally, I managed to obtain this True Treasure series. Listening on, Luo Feng felt his excitement rising. It was as though he had personally undergone this battle of Universe Supreme Masters. This True Treasure series consists of a total of 526 true treasures, of which 521 are ordinary true treasures, 4 are senior true treasures, and the remaining one is a top-tier true treasure, Ancestor explained. The sharp fangs and scales on its body, for instance, can be dismantled and used individually. Combining everything to form one body, its power is massive. Luo Feng was shocked. 526 true treasures to form one True Treasure series? It was said that Primal Chaos City Leader's 1,000 treasure river was formed by 1,000 true treasures put together, and this, in Luo Feng's eyes, did not pale in comparison. Moreover, out of these 526 true treasures, one was at the top tier level. Breaking this down, the horn alone is a top-tier true treasure, said Ancestor. And, once combined with the power of a few hundred other true treasures, its power will skyrocket. Ancestor gave a sentimental sigh. By placing this True Treasure series on one's godly body, every part of the godly body becomes a weapon ready to attack. It is definitely the most suitable tool for a great being who wants to cultivate the Beast God path and become a universe master. I named it Beast God Armor and had planned to bestow it to one of the universe masters from my Space Beast Alliance that I found to have great potential. Ancestor looked at Luo Feng. Now, it's yours. Luo Feng felt his heart pounding faster. Beast God Armor. Thank you, Ancestor. Luo Feng said, showing his gratitude respectfully. Ancestor smiled and nodded, and with one wave, the black beast figure flew over to Luo Feng. A golden-horned beast appeared on Luo Feng's shoulder. At this moment, his golden-horned beast body had temporarily put away the Force armor, Shi Wu wings, the 9 Tiger River, and the other treasures, storing them in the World Ring. It swooped down while exerting its godly power, speedily encircled the black beast figure to brand the beast with its life imprints. Hong. The black beast figure was instantly broken up into several hundred true treasures, all black in color, which flew over to golden-horned beast at top speed and settled on him. There, the true treasures fully integrated into golden-horned beast's body, covering every inch of him. In an instant, golden-horned beast transformed into a gigantic beast that was jet black all over. The scales covering every inch of his godly body were like knife blades. Even his fangs grew tremendously. The 5 sharp horns originally on his forehead had become 6. The middle horn was the longest, with a length of approximately 1.5 feet. At this juncture, Golden-Horned Beast still maintained his miniaturized godly body, which was 3 feet long. Luo Feng's consciousness was cheering with joy. Wonderful. Those sharp claws. That tail. That godly body. And those sharp horns. Everywhere. Every part of it was a true treasure. This True Treasure series was truly deserving of being considered most compatible with the Beast God path. Furthermore, Beast God armor had incredible defensive power. It was essentially an attack-type true treasure, and its defensive power was comparatively weaker. Yet its defensive power would still be on par with ordinary treasures of a top-tier true treasure defense armor. The instant Luo Feng branded the armor with his life imprints, Beast God armor transmitted some ancient information, including its actual name. Luo Feng was secretly confused. This Beast God armor was originally named Northern Rock. What a strange name. Many treasures had original names, such as Silver Dragon Phantom and Golden King armor. However, their new users would normally give them other names, such as Ancient Boat Galaxy and Golden Armor. Beast God armor's original name had been Northern Rock. Regardless of what its original name was, this Beast God armor is indeed the most suitable one for my golden-horned beast body. Excellent. Roar. Golden-horned beast got worked up and could not help letting out a roar of excitement. Ancestor nodded with satisfaction. Luo Feng, come here. Sitting Mountain Guest shouted out. Luo Feng obeyed immediately. Sitting Mountain Guest took Luo Feng aside and changed the universe law of the surroundings. If Ancestor wanted to listen to their conversation, he could, of course, make use of the universe laws to forcibly suppress this, but Ancestor would not go to that extent. It was obvious that Sitting Mountain Guest had something to discuss with his disciple in private. Teacher, Luo Feng said as he sat down beside Sitting Mountain Guest. Just a short 180 million years to succeed. Well done. Sitting Mountain Guest nodded his approval. You are stronger than your second brother. Luo Feng listened submissively. Back then, I made you the star map, but looking at you today, I'm afraid it will no longer be of much help. Sitting Mountain Guest said, although you may only be a pinnacle undying now, you are highly accomplished in the studies of secret engravings. You are already at a strategically advantageous position. If you were to move on to studying the law path, in an extremely short period of time, you will be able to achieve a breakthrough and become a universe knight. Even if making your way past the threshold to be a universe knight may somewhat affect you, 1,000 years should be enough. Luo Feng nodded. He was also very confident. Studying the pictures of secret engravings had made him feel that studying the law path would be simple. It would be easy to understand. Previously, he had been restricted to only studying the engravings because of the gamble, so Luo Feng had simply refrained from studying the law path. When you have become a universe knight, you will be using Star Tower while being new to it, but you will already be able to activate the entire Star Tower, Sitting Mountain Guest said. By then, with Star Tower, this star map will be useless. Luo Feng nodded and could not help asking, Teacher, does this mean that I have to undergo another ordeal to obtain the 5th black metal board of the 9-volume manual? To obtain the 3rd black metal board, Luo Feng had sent himself to Ice Hell. To obtain the 4th, he had fallen into this Beast God sector. No, said Sitting Mountain Guest. Then, he added with a smile, if your teacher's methods are also easily fathomed, could I still be called a teacher? Luo Feng was taken by surprise. In terms of training through ordeals, this Beast God sector has put you through enough, Sitting Mountain Guest said. 180 million years. You can now create a Universe Master ultimate technique. Based on your studies on pictures of secret engravings and the law path, we have mutual confirmation. That's enough. What about the fifth black metal board? Asked Luo Feng. He could not wait to get his hands on the fifth black metal board right away. When the time comes, you will know. Sitting Mountain Guest said. Luo Feng was left with no other choice. Sitting Mountain Guest looked at Luo Feng with a satisfied expression. Continue to work hard. Your power is extremely strong now, but just wait until the day you use Star Tower. No one in this universe will be able to look down on you. As your teacher, I have hopes for you to become even stronger. Yes, teacher, said Luo Feng. He was expectant, too. Over the course of these 180 million years, he had undergone a total transformation. He was no longer a weakling unarmed with battling techniques who could only depend on setting his godly being ablaze to obtain power when facing his enemies, hoping that his enemies' powers would be consumed before he was finished. Consuming his opponents to death was only achievable in the land of extremists, because that was a place where no one could send out calls for help to other great beings of their races. However, in other places, such as the original star, when one met with danger, it was always possible to obtain help from other great beings. After all, every supreme being was important. Sitting Mountain Guest turned his head, transmitting his voice to Ancestor who stood in the distance. Space Ancestor, thank you for all these years. Now that he has met my expectations, I will take him and leave this place. There's no hurry. Wait a moment. Ancestor was by their side in a flash. Sitting Mountain Guest looked at Ancestor. There is something else? Nothing to do with you. Ancestor looked at Luo Feng. I have something to tell Luo Feng. He is my disciple, said Sitting Mountain Guest. How is this unrelated to me? Luo Feng, from how I see it, I think you should still focus on staying within humans. But Sitting Mountain Guest was still mid-sentence when he suddenly started laughing. Luo Feng, he said, since Space Ancestor has something to tell you, you should stay and chat with him. I will wait for you here. Then we can head back to the primal universe. Yes, teacher, Luo Feng replied. Right. It was time to head back to the primal universe. Ellipsis. Sitting Mountain Guest walked off into the distance, and Luo Feng followed him. He bowed to show his respect, then addressed him. Ancestor, he said. Ancestor looked at Luo Feng and asked directly, has the thought of leaving the human race ever crossed your mind?